Good evening, students. The next disease, this is for pathology, BSc nursing second year students, respiratory system. The next disease which we are going to deal is bronchial asthma. What is bronchial asthma? The bronchial asthma is a disease of airway that is characterized by increased responsiveness of trachea or bronchial tree to a variety of stimuli, resulting in widespread narrowing of the air passage. So here we are seeing that there will be the narrowing of the air passage due to increased responsiveness of trachea, bronchial tree to variety of stimuli. Means the allergens will be inhaled, and then it will cause the increased mucus secretion, or irritants will be there, which will cause a narrowing of air passage due to increased responsiveness of trachea, bronchial tree, and which may be relieved spontaneously or by therapy, or it can be relieved spontaneously by anything or by therapy. Asthma. The asthma is an episodic airway disease with reversible bronchoconstriction manifested clinically by paroxysms of dyspnea, cough, and wheezing. So it is an episodic airway disease, and here the reversible bronchoconstriction can occur. Means bronchoconstriction will occur, then again it can be relieved also, and the dyspnea will be seen, cough and wheezing can be seen. Etiology and types. The types of asthma are two types: extrinsic asthma and intrinsic asthma. Mainly according to the stimuli initiated bronchial asthma are these two types. So let's see the features of these two contrasting asthmas. There is a table having features, and one is extrinsic asthma and intrinsic asthma. So age on onset in childhood and in adults, then person or family history commonly present, but in intrinsic asthma it is absent. In extrinsic asthma is occurring in children, and it is intrinsic is occurring in adults. Then preceding allergic illness present in rhinitis, urticaria, eczema, but in intrinsic asthma there will be no allergic illness. Allergens present: dust, pollen in extrinsic asthma, but in intrinsic asthma no dust or pollen is seen. Then drug hypersensitivity, it is none in extrinsic asthma, but in present in intrinsic asthma due to aspirin. In intrinsic asthma the aspirin is production there, so drug hypersensitivity will occur if aspirin is taken in large amount. Then serum IgE level. Serum IgE level, immunoglobulin E level will be elevated in extrinsic asthma, and in intrinsic asthma it will be normal. Then associated chronic bronchitis or nasal polyps will be absent in extrinsic asthma, and intrinsic asthma it will be present. Emphysema, the extrinsic asthma it will be unusual, and intrinsic asthma it will be common. So we can see that emphysema can occur in intrinsic asthma also. The pathogenesis can be: the pathway of pathogenesis of bronchial asthma is given as follows. We can see how it occurs. There will be the exposure of individual. This is the pathogenesis, which we can say. Pathophysiology and pathogenesis are different. Firstly, we will see the pathogenesis. Means the exposure of individual will be there to allergen, then person becomes sensitized, results in formation of immunoglobulin E antibody, then those antibodies will coat the mast cell. Mast cell will be coated by IgE. Then re-exposure to similar antigen will trigger the immunological response. Then that mast cell will undergo degranulation and then release the cytoplasmic granules like histamine, eosinophilic, chemotactic factor, prostaglandins and platelet activating factor. Then it will cause the bronchoconstriction. Then repeated episodes leads to remodeling of bronchial wall with proliferation of smooth muscles and fibroblasts. Means there will be smooth muscles and fibroblasts proliferation will occur. So let's see again the pathway of pathogenesis for bronchial asthma is an individual is exposed to allergen, then person will become sensitized, sensitivity will occur, then formation of immunoglobulin E will be there, then they will cover the mast cell, then degranulation, re-exposure will occur, then antigen will trigger immunological response, then mast cell will undergo degranulation, then granulation tissues will be cytoplasmic granules will be released, then bronchoconstrictions will be there, then repeated episodes leads to remodeling of bronchial wall with proliferation of smooth and muscle fibroblast. Now let's see the pathophysiology of bronchial asthma. What happens? Foreign bodies will be there and that will cause the entry in the respiratory tract will be there, then it will cause irritation, then amount of antibodies like mast cell, neutrophils or IgE will be there, then inflammation will occur, then increased mucus or expectorate body from the sputum, then airway will be decreased and dyspnea sign and symptoms will be occurred. This is the same as a person is sensitized, then immunoglobulin is there, then the person is sensitized, then the IgE is produced. After that inflammation will occur, then mucus will increase and airway will be decreased leading to dyspnea. And in pathogenesis, the antibodies will be covering the mast cell. Then two more steps are there. They will go granulation and bronchoconstriction will occur. Here only the dyspnea can also occur. So we can learn both are near about similar. You can learn any one. Here we can see the pathological changes in asthma. The normal bronchiole is there and asthmatic bronchiole. Difference you can see. Let's see some figures of bronchial asthma. Here one thing we have not seen that the lungs are over distended. What are the pathogenesis? We have seen that the pathway of pathogenesis in the bronchial asthma is seen, and pathophysiology we have seen the grossly and pathological changes grossly and microscopically. What are they? Let's see. The lungs are exposed to obstruction. The lungs are over distended due to overinflation, showing occlusion of bronchi and bronchioles by viscid mucus plug. Here the lungs are mostly over distended, means overfilled due to overinflation, means very much air is obstructed, causing the over distended of the lungs, which show occlusion of bronchi. Bronchi are occluded, air cannot flow, and bronchioles by viscid mucus plug. Mucus is deposited there. Microscopically, means in asthma, excessive mucus production can obstruct the bronchi and bronchioles, and microscopically the mucus plug contain the normal or degenerated respiratory epithelium forming twisted strips called as Kirschmann spirals. The sputum usually contains numerous eosinophils and diamond-shaped crystals derived from them called as Charcot-Leyden crystals. Bronchial walls show thickened basement membrane of bronchial epithelium along with hypertrophy of submucosal gland and bronchial smooth muscle. Mainly here what will happen? Blockage will occur So excessive mucus production is there, due to which complete blockage can occur and over distension of lungs can occur due to viscid mucus plug. That is the main thing. And Birchman spirals is the main thing. Let's see the diagrams. Some diagrams of bronchial asthma. Here already we have discussed that the asthma are of two types. Bronchial asthma, that is the extrinsic and intrinsic asthma. At higher magnification, the numerous eosinophils are prominent from their bright red cytoplasmic granules. In case of bronchial asthma, higher magnification will show that the eosinophils are prominent and dark red. In comparison to cytoplasmic granules, in case of bronchial asthma, there are two types of major clinical asthma, extrinsic and intrinsic. And we have seen already that it is related with allergy or atopy. And type 1 hypersensitivity will be there, means Ig, immunoglobulin E formation will be there. Asthmatic attack will occur repeatedly with contact and occurs in childhood. And here the asthmatic attacks are precipitated by respiratory infection, exposure to cold, exercise, stress, inhaled irritants. Drugs such as aspirin and adults are most often affected. The main difference we should learn about these two. So up to here we have discussed. The next I will discuss in the next class. Thank you, class.